Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode number 370 of How Do You Write? I'm Rachael Herron. So glad that you are here with me today as I am talking to Katlyn Duncan about the power of writing with friends. And I love talking about that. So, and she's just a delight. So please stick around for the interview section and what is going on around here. Rachel Says Plan is about to get underway. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. I talked about it in the last mini episode, but Rachel Says Plan is going to be an ongoing monthly thing where it's a Patreon level of $25 a month and up. And we are going to plan our writing and we're going to be accountable to each other in Slack. I will give you PDFs to play with and to write all over. And there will be one Q&A a month just for members of this. And I want to thank some people who have joined Patreon in order to take advantage of this. They have either joined or upped their pledge in order to be part of this. And I'm so excited. So thank you to Donna and Lori and Mary and Lisa and Cheryl and Tuomas and Dahlia and Carol and Mariah and Kylo and Anne-Marie and Tracy and Linda and Andrea. Wow. Okay. And the thing I love about this is that so many, not all, but so many of these names are people that I have worked with in the past in different things. They have been in my classes or I have coached them back when I was coaching. And this is the closest you can get to coaching with me right now because I just don't coach anymore. But there's going to be some coaching in this. It's going to be hanging out and talking about writing. So it's already fun over in the Slack. So if you are interested, you are not too late to join before July starts, or even if you hear this into mid-July, join and make a plan. Basically, this whole thing, Rachel Says Plan, is about planning and failing and then replanning. Learning how to do that with kindness and sweetness and productivity. Really my superpowers. So please come along to that if you would like to. And thank you to all the new members. I cannot wait to do this with you. It's going to be so fun. What else is going on? I am diligently working on the last little bits of the memoir rejiggering. It's about to go to my agent. I'm just waiting actually for beta reader feedback. I don't often use beta readers. You will hear me talk about that. I don't trust beta readers. Normally I want my agent usually to be the first to read my stuff. She is kind of a beta reader, but I do have a couple in my back pocket. I have my partner who is an excellent reader because she just doesn't pull any punches, which sometimes I wish she would. But she's an excellent reader. And she loves genre fiction and she loves all fiction. And she's just got a great head for story. And she's been talking about story structure and character development with me for long enough that she can really address those things. Also, one of my very best friends and fellow writers, we have been pals for so long that she is one of those people that I shoot it over to when I just think I need a reality check. I have been staring at this too long. Is it any good, or have I killed it dead just by ripping at its seams for too long? So I am waiting to hear back from her, and then it'll be off my desk and that'll be fun. And what else am I doing? Oh, I'm working on sending out the next Patreon essay, which is about journaling, which is about the way I fall back into journaling. Like some people fall off of the edges of boats when they scuba dive just easily. Some people fall out of airplanes because they're so used to doing it. I fall back into journaling. So that's the essay I am going to finish up today, I think, and send out. And that's what's been going on around here. We have a house guest, and that's been delightful and also a little bit upsetting to my little nervous system because I am so used to just being with me and Lala, and that's it, and the dog, and even having one extra body in the house is just something that I need to try not to over control. So I am practicing with that. And I know people who often have people in and out of their houses. You absolutely do not understand what I'm talking about right now, but yeah, it's a place of work for me. It's work I like to do, and I really enjoy this person who is staying with us. So that's nice. All right, let us jump into the interview with that And here is Katlyn's bio. Katlyn Duncan is an award-winning, multi-published author of adult and young adult fiction and has ghostwritten over 40 novels for children and adults. When she's not writing, she's obsessing over many, many television series and hanging out on YouTube, where she shares her writing process and all the bookish things. So please enjoy this interview. Please get some of your own writing done and then come tell me about it. And here we go. Well, I am so pleased to welcome you to the show and see you again. Will you please share your name and your pronouns with us?
Absolutely. I'm Katlyn Duncan, and my pronouns are she, her.
Yay. It has been a while since we talked. And the last time we talked, you were putting together a new book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that book?
Yes, I do. I also have
out.
visuals now.
Oh,
the
fabulous.
Successful Hybrid Author. You were so generous to chat with me about your process of being a hybrid author and everything. And this was just so fun to write. I had a couple other authors involved, and I also poured my feelings into the book as well, being a hybrid author, and just giving opportunity for authors to sort of go different ways to benefit themselves in an author first mentality.
What I love is that you wrote this so that I can send people to the book when they're like, oh, what is a hybrid author? Will you please tell us what a hybrid author is? And then we will, well, first of all, we'll say it is not a hybrid publisher. Hybrid publishers
Yes.
are often scams, and everyone knows how I feel about hybrid publishers. You can come at me and I will stand up for it. Hybrid authors are delicious. So what is a hybrid author?
They really are. So basically, the hybrid author is any author who has published or is publishing sort of in both traditional and indie paths. So there's so many different ways you could be a hybrid author. That's why I sort of wrote the book to outline a bunch of situations, and because I myself sort of got burnt out with trad, and I really didn't know where to go from there. So this I hope this book helps a lot of people in terms of if you're indie and things aren't going well, you can go into trad and vice versa to try to get some money for your books.
I've got the typical standard questions that I ask everybody that we'll probably get to. But before that, I want to go back to, because people will be hearing this and going, wait, I want more. And because people have heard how I have felt burned out by trad, how did you feel burned out by traditional publishing?
I had been publishing from 2013 through 2020 with the trad publisher. And it was a digital first imprint of, it was first Harlequin, then HarperCollins. So meaning that my books came out digitally first, no guarantee of a paperback or audiobook. And because it was digital first, it was such a whirlwind. So as soon as I could get a book out, they would publish it and then get the next one. And I was on this ongoing treadmill, and we were switching genres, and I didn't really have a lot of great advice. I was orphaned 7 times in that amount of time. 7 times. Some of them lasted 1 month. And then I was just okay.
Orphaned is when your editor leaves the company. Yes. And so now there's nobody at the publisher who loves your book. You're suddenly, you don't have a mom anymore. Yeah.
I know. It's really awful, but it's definitely hardened me up a bit.
Yeah.
And then I was doing really well writing women's fiction because it's very marketable in the trad space. And in 2020, I suffered from burnout, which a lot of us did, sort of feeling the effects of the world. And I thought to myself, I couldn't write. And if I was going to write again, it would be those types of books, because those were not the books of my heart. Yeah. So I ended up jumping on with 2 writer friends in the morning, 5 a.m. And we started writing again. And I decided to write thrillers. And I didn't want to sell them to my publisher. So so that's sort of how I went indie. And then I wrote Take Back Your Book, which was my rights reversion book. Yes. Because I had the rights back on some of my books. And I love that process. I love being able to play with them now and give them fresh life. So it was just definitely too much all at once. And it wasn't where I wanted it to be emotionally with my stories. So
Are you still writing with those friends?
I am.
So do you still do it early in the morning?
It's funny you said that, and I'm like, wait, it's been like almost 3 years at this point. So I write with Sasha Black, who you know very well.
I didn't know you wrote with
And
Sasha. I
also
forgot. Oh
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
And then my friend Katie Carroll, who actually lives near me. So not near enough to meet up as often as we'd like, but yeah.
I know
So we meet
Katie
up
Carroll's name just from Sasha mentioning her, you know.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
So you still meet up and you write over Zoom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is so flippin' cool. And it just goes to show. So are you still writing, producing, and wanting to be in the thriller realm?
Yes. So my first book, another visual for your YouTube
Yes, please.
because I watch your show on YouTube. Her Buried Lives is my debut adult thriller that came out October of 2022. Yeah. And I'm writing my next one, which I'm hoping will be out this fall. But we'll see. It's been like a process. So yeah, I plan on probably putting out at least 4 before doing any more switching of genres.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of ideas, and I'm really loving it. I'm loving the opportunity to explore like darker themes. And this book I actually queried in 2021, and it went over pretty well, but no one wanted to buy it. It was one of those like unmarketable ones, which you know.
I know very well.
So I decided to, now it was like a reckoning with myself. It's like, all right, I'm just going to do indie for now. I'll never say no to trad, but for right now, it's just all me.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. All right. So you write with your 2 friends often. Where else and how do you get the writing done?
That's mostly it. Because I do work full time outside of being an author. So those between 5 and 7 in the morning, Monday through Friday, that's like my time.
That is enough time.
Writing.
That's it. That's all you need.
It really is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because when I was sort of more full time after I had my child, fortunately I got to stay home for a bit. That's when I started ghostwriting. Was that Parkinson's law, when you have like 8 hours, you just spread it out. And now working again, the 2 hours in the morning, I'm very dedicated and I get everything done that I need to.
I literally write fewer books now that I work full time as a writer. It's just, and you hear that over and over and over and over again. That just happens. Wait, I've got to go back to process. And I've never asked Sasha about this. So I'm going to ask you, because I love this idea. What happens on the Zoom? Talk us through the Zoom. Do you have a little chit chat? Does somebody like Sasha yell that now it's time to write? Do you have competitions? Are you in write? What are you doing in there?
So I'm not, my competition is very low. And she knows that we don't really compete. But sometimes I can nudge her competition a little bit. Yeah, she does have someone she writes with that's high competition, so that's fine. Typically we'll chat. Over the past 3 years sprinting together, we've got to know each other personally, professionally. So we'll sort of talk about what's going on and our wins and our lows, and we jump right in. Typically it's sort of back and forth depending on who's like the dedicated, like, all right, let's go. Just depends on that morning, but usually we do like 2 to 3 sprints together. And
that goes to show the power of just community, meeting people, making friends, and somebody saying, hey, you want to do this? And you say, oh, okay, we'll try it. And then it works. It works.
Yes.
That's so cool. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to writing?
I'd probably say working with my brain, if that makes sense. We had talked about ADHD, and I have a recent diagnosis, and that for me was really nice, actually, to like understand that I need certain things. And because part of my burnout with trad was just writing so fast, not giving myself intellection time. My intellection's number 1, deliberative number 2. They're very slow. They love to be slow. Yeah. And I used to like hate that fact. But I feel so much better now that I kind of just like go with the flow. I don't procrastinate. I've never been a procrastinator, but it's a challenge to be like want to do all of the things, but I just have to like take it easy and do like well filling, and then, my process.
I feel like understanding the ADHD and also having Clifton strengths, which is what a bunch of what we're referring to right now is, that helps so much. It gives you permission. It gives you exoneration for the stuff you thought you were screwing up in the past. It was just our brains, we didn't know how to work with them. And I think that is so cool. What is your biggest joy when it comes to writing?
Because I write sort of fiction and nonfiction, do you mind if I answer for both? Because they're sort of very separate.
Totally.
So I would say fiction, which I feel like a lot of writers feel, is just like getting that story out of my body. Because the characters live in me, the story lives in me, and then like getting it out and like holding my book is such a joy. That just keeps me going. Also the voices in my head force me to. So and then when it comes to nonfiction, I really love, I have high individualization as well. So that could sometimes be a challenge, but I love the books that I write when it comes to nonfiction, because I'm trying to just like help the person reading it. It's not like anything specific. Sometimes I write to like myself, like my past self. And I just love sharing the knowledge of empowerment about writing. It's not everything, everyone talks about. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I'm trying to sort of open that gap a little bit from my experience specifically. So that brings me joy.
Such good answers for two very different writing processes. And I love writing nonfiction / memoir / fiction. I love that it just feels good to be able to do all of that.
Yes.
Can you share a craft tip of any sort with us?
Sure. It's one that I sort of intuitively did or do with a lot of my previous books that I really love to share with other writers. So it's probably part Save the Cat, but it's like that mirror image. So something that I like to do before I write my fiction is to understand the mirror image at the beginning, or an image at the beginning, and then a mirror of it at the end. And those are like my two flagpoles.
Ooh, I like that.
And I love being a little like if you went back to the beginning, it was probably like almost, I try to make it really close to like a line or a line of dialogue, but it's like totally different after the transformation. So that's my little practice.
Oh, that is
I love
so
doing that because
good.
I feel like it's a little sneaky, but it also helps me understand the transformation as I'm writing it. And like sort of, I am a plotter, but I like to look for that specific end.
It's sneaky in the best way, and it has that deep resonance of satisfaction, because like when I nail that myself, it's usually pretty late in a draft. It sounds like you're maybe thinking about this early in a draft. I'm always at the end when I remember that a mirror might be nice, and it just feels so good. And it's one of those things that like the reader is either going to see and go, oh, that feels good, or the reader's going to never see it at all, and it doesn't matter whether they remember the beginning or not. That is
right.
Oh, I love that. What is the kindest thing that anyone's ever done for you in your writing career?
I have to say it's sort of like an unofficial mentor. So Susan Mallory is a very popular women's fiction novelist. So when I was writing women's fiction, I just wanted some advice, and I reached out to her, and I never expected to hear back. But she was super responsive. She gave me some fantastic advice. She told me about Becca Syme. So I have her to blame for that. Not blame, but I owe her for that. And she has just been I haven't really talked with her in a couple of years, one-to-one, but she has offered so much great advice. Anytime I felt like I could just reach out, and she'd get back to me within a day. And I joined her reader group, and she I did a plotting like Susan Mallory video Like I did a 2-part video on YouTube, and she like shared it, and it was so nice. And I always remember her, and I always think of that like kindness.
Yeah.
And I try to do the same, because like that was at that burnout part of my life in 2020, where like I learned about Clifton strengths, and then I was able to write again. I don't know where I would be right now if like I didn't do that. I mean, I probably would write eventually, but like Becca Syme and Clifton strengths, and like I met Sasha through that, and like it's just a whirlwind.
Have you ever thanked her for that? Have you ever reached out and said, like, did you know how much my life changed because you were kind?
I haven't, but I probably
Oh,
will. I'll do that probably tonight, because
I bet she would love
I haven't thought
that.
about it in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I asked.
Yes, thank you.
Yay. Oh, that's gorgeous. I knew I liked her for a reason. I don't know her personally. What is the kindest thing that you've ever done for yourself as a writer?
I have to say, like, sticking up for myself. That's probably the kindest thing I could have done. It's definitely, like Susan, like it's thrown me on a different trajectory. Being able to like advocate for myself, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. And like I had that terror of like not having a book contract. But I'm so much happier being in control and writing what I love. And it was like a really big kindness that I sort of unknowingly did for myself.
That is so good. And I really loved your body language in your face when you were saying that. I could see like the softness that came over you. That was really a gift that you have given yourself. Oh,
Yes.
Thank you for
It
sharing
really
that.
has been. Yeah.
What is the best book that you read recently, and why did you love it?
Can I give you two, fiction and nonfiction?
Yes,
Play on
please.
this
I
theme.
hope so.
Yeah, so on brand with the theme of the conversation, Sasha Ruby Rose's new book, Game of Hearts and Heists,
so good.
was so good. She calls it, we were talking the other day about like candy floss, like books, like just so like, oh, so good. It was so fun, and it was such an adventure. And I really love that. And I keep bugging her to like give me the next one. And also too, I have to say on a personal note with that, like I was there through the process of her writing it and the ups and downs and stuff. And to see that product, I'm like so proud of her for that. I probably should let her know that too, but maybe she'll watch it and hear that. But she did so well.
And she was taking such a big risk. You know, she wasn't telling anybody what it was about, and she didn't tell anybody the name for a long time. And she was writing what she loved because she needed to feel the passion of her work again. Yes. And it shows in that book. It's Ruby Rose, Game of Hearts and Heists, and very, very highly recommended.
It's very good. Yeah. It's very adult if anyone's looking at it.
Very sexy, super sexy.
Yes. And also too, so my nonfiction is another YouTuber. She's a decluttering expert. So it's Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White. And she has this method that has been like life-changing for me when it's like, because I moved over the summer, and it was a very emotional move. And I just took way too much stuff. We downsized from a house to a townhouse. And I just felt like, I don't know if you feel this way. I don't know if it's my ADHD, but like you feel noise from things around you.
Yeah, I can't.
It was so noisy.
We moved last month, and the fact that the dining room is still just like full of boxes is I lose sleep over. Yeah, it makes me shake. Yes.
Yeah. So being able to declutter, let go of a lot of stuff, I've actually created more time in my day because I'm not cleaning, tidying, picking up, doing all these things with stuff that I don't even want or need. So that's been a big one for me recently.
That is like my particular like catnip / porn. I'm going to go one click back because I was like, Katlyn won't say a book that I haven't read, but I have not read that one, and I'm going to go get it immediately. So thank you.
Yeah.
And now, will you please tell us about both your most recent novel and nonfiction?
Absolutely. So Her Buried Lives is my thriller. It's an adult thriller. It's about a girl who suffers from a mental illness that I may have suffered from. I don't like to go too far into it, but so she's dealing with a very controlling mother and doesn't know much about her past until given the opportunity to go visit their old legacy home. And it's like a creepy, secluded Victorian in like an isolated town. And then she finds out like a ton of secrets about her family. It's all good things.
Is
all
it
fun
gothic?
things.
Is it kind of like a gothic thriller? It sounds a little gothic-y.
No, I mean the house itself maybe,
Yeah.
but the story is pretty like contemporary.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And your nonfiction?
Yep. The Successful Hybrid Author came out in January. And that's just the jumping off point after Take Back Your Book about rights reversion. Rights reversion is one way you could be a hybrid author. And it's sort of just like outlining my process on how I became a hybrid author, and then featuring, you know, lovely authors such as yourself, and of the conversations that we've had, and they really helped shape the book a lot. And I talked to a whole bunch of other authors, and they were so generous to give me all of the information about. And it was so crazy because I could have written a very, very, very small book on my process, but this felt very like a community book, and I made some friendships. So that's always a good thing.
So cool. I'm so glad that we finally got you on the show. We've had like 75,000 cancellations. And I appreciate your patience in getting to this point here today to talk about your books. And it is a joy to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here and on the show. And where can we find you out there online?
You can go to my website, KatlynDuncan.com, KatlynDuncan.com.
Thank you, Katlyn. Happy writing to you.